Hey, and welcome to map 23 of TNT Evilution. This is Lunar mining project, and you can see that the opening here is pretty interesting because we've got a bunch of windows here that allow us to look out into the courtyard. There's a nice big corridor here with some enemies littered inside, so there's plenty of intrigue for us to be going on with here. As we kind of make our way into the side part here, you can see that the long corridor extends around. There's a bunch of enemies for us to work through, and also some little side rooms here. Now, you'll see here, this is actually a bed. Now, I just love the fact that TNT really tries to put human, real objects into this game world, and obviously, like a chair there, it doesn't quite work, but it works just enough. There's a secret behind this bookcase here, which we're going to come in and grab the items out of. You can see there's a few enemies outside, including our good old friend Mr. Archie. If we come down into this room here, it's pretty much a mirror for the other room, except there's no yellow key in this one. So I just want to make sure we get rid of that arch-vile, just because I don't want it running around the level. I don't want it potentially causing trouble later on. Unfortunately, killing arch-viles with the single shotgun is a pain in the backside, let me tell you. But as we kind of glance outside, you can see there's quite a few interesting structures outside. There's a staircase in the middle there, and there's a few goodies that we want to grab when we get the opportunity to. So as you can see, we'll come to the other side here, and there is stuff over here, so it's worth popping our head over here. There's no doors to the side there, but there is a red door there. You can see more windows looking out on that central courtyard. If you come around this corner here, there's a switch which opens the door over there. Bit pointless, but it's there. There's also a chain gun there in case you want one at the start of the level but don't fancy shooting the chain gun to grab it. So the yellow door brings us into this little central area here. It's a bit darker than the area we're in just now, so it's a bit more difficult to see long distances, but not too difficult. The red key is in the middle there. You can see that you have to use the chairs to step up. That's a interesting design choice. So you have to use the chairs to get into this central ramp. There are two little cubbies here with various items and goodies. That second one opens up the pockets of enemies over here. There's a few chain gunners who we really need to be careful of here. We don't want to lose too much health to these guys. All the shotgunners. But as you can see, there's nothing really in that cubby over there. The red door is actually in the middle here, and it lets us come outside. It is very much worth, in my opinion, coming out here before you go into the mines, because there are a few good items out here that you will want to grab, because it will make life down there a bit easier. It's another one of these spiral staircases, and as we grab the rocket launcher at the top, a bunch of enemies will spawn into the courtyard here. I did get caught there, but luckily there's a few health packs around the outside just here to give us a hand. So some interesting architecture here. There's a super shotgun in the middle of that post there, and this is going to be our weapon of choice for the rest of this level, I think. So we're going to head down into the mines here. You can see there was an imp hidden in that little cubby there. Now as we make our way through the mines here, it's important to clear out the enemies here, just so that they don't accidentally follow you through and start shooting you from above or down below, because that can happen if you're very unlucky. There's a little cave bit here, which you can see is telegraphed by the texture with the hole in it. I do like when these retail Doom games make use of that. And as we enter this area here, there's kind of a little shrine area. You can see there's an invulnerability sphere in the middle there. This is a very different space to the rest of the level, and there's two Barons of Hell here With the invulnerability here, this is not difficult at all, but this is one of the reasons why I said grab the super shotgun. It just makes light work of these guys. Now, the invulnerability, you can hold it off and you can use it when you're grabbing the blue key, but personally for me, I prefer to use it on the Barons because this level isn't that difficult, to be honest. You can see there's a lift there, which we're going to make use of. One thing I don't like about this level is that there are some walls that kind of look like secrets because they use that same texture, but then they're not actually secrets, so it can get a bit, you know, kind of like you kind of have to tap against the wall and kind of hope something's going to happen. There's one in here on the left hand side which always used to get me because you look at it and it's like you'd think, oh, you know, that's a secret, and it's not a secret. But when you grab the blue key, the room will begin to fill with some enemies. They're not coming here with any great urgency, let's put it that way. So you can see some more enemies have piled into the little caverns here. Just checking there's no enemies kind of walking around still. I can hear a bony boy. I don't think he's down here, but I am just going to quickly run around and check. Oh no, there he is. He came right to us, didn't he? Damn it. I did want to get onto that elevator there. So as we head up here, you can see that there's going to be some enemies who've spawned into the level. We want to take care of those as best we can because there's a few nasty ones like chain gunners dotted in, and obviously we don't want to lose that much health to them. There's also a bony boy there. Luckily there's no archviles. Can you imagine how cruel this would be if they dumped an archvile in whose sole aim was to sort of wake everything back up? Luckily we're at the point in the level where I can kind of start using the rocket launcher with wild abandon. So I'm just going to quickly do a quick sweep over here, just make sure there's no enemies. I have to say, I don't find this level offensive at all. I think the biggest crime you could say about this level is that it's very passable. But even then, I don't think that's a negative, I just think that's an observation. There's nothing particularly memorable about this level that really makes it stand out in my opinion, but you can say that about a lot of the TNT levels we've played. What I do like, however, is this exit here, because they do make really cool use of the sky texture in a way that you don't normally see. And when you look from the back there, you can see that you don't actually get to see the texture. So, Lunar Mining Project for me is not a bad level. In fact, I think it's pretty fun. I will say the secrets are a bit weak on this one, and I did forget one, and that's because it's a very forgettable secret. We'll pick it up in the PS1 version, but overall, don't hate this one. Think it's pretty good in my opinion. I don't think it's anything outstanding, but at this point in TNT, we'll take that. So let's dive over to the PS1 version of this level. And I'm going to say up front, for the most part, this level is untouched by any real changes. They've removed the shadows from in this corridor area, because in the PC version they're kind of at a slight angle, and that's probably just to sort of suggest that the sun's not like perfectly overhead. But you kind of come through these areas and you'll realise very quickly that everything's kind of the way it was, which is a good thing, because this is one of the few levels that hasn't been kind of tampered with. You can see the bed's still here, the shotgun there, although this bed looks slightly less comfy, so let's not doze off on it. Gonna grab the yellow key here. Excuse me. Thank you. So the bookcase is gone, but there is still a texture here to indicate there's a secret. So you can see there's still a swarm of hit scanners outside in the central court area, but they've got rid of the archvile for obvious reasons, because there is no archvile in the PS1 version of Doom. But they have thrown a bony boy in here, and we've seen a few more of those as the level progresses. Still, I don't want him running around because his rockets can still cause quite a bit of damage. I would love to know if these rooms are actually based off any like real locations, because I do get the vibe that whoever made this level probably did this whole area like this as a bit of an inside joke or something, with the big beds and such. But as we move through the rest of the level here, you can see that there's still the same sense of scale when you look outside, the same architecture, so they've not really kind of gone in to take things out in this one. And the performance isn't that bad either, so there's no real kind of need for that. We'll come around here and grab the chain gun for ammo, because we're not going to waste chain gun ammo. The switch there still does the exact same thing. Nothing has really changed in that regard. And you can see as well they've used the skybox from Ultimate Doom, which is definitely a choice. So as we've discussed in some of these previous TNT levels on the PS1, the skyboxes are very inconsistent, and they do just kind of throw random skyboxes here, there and everywhere, and that will continue as we kind of head into Plutonia and the master levels eventually. You'll also notice there that they've got rid of the chairs, so you no longer have to sort of climb on the chairs to get up to the middle ramp bit there. You can just kind of walk up the steps, which, personally speaking, I think that's the way it should have been originally. I didn't quite understand why there needed to be chairs there, but you know. So as we grab the red key here, it's the same trap as we saw in the PC version. I will say this is a bit darker than the PC version was anyway, so it's actually a bit more difficult here to track all the enemies as they kind of make their way into the room. But if you kind of run around this way, there's nowhere they can really go to surprise you. Grab all that ammo, thank you. Again, I do like this central room. I think this area out here is probably my favourite part of this level. I think it's an interesting space. There's quite a lot of hiding places for the enemies when they spawn in. And I do think that as long as you kind of are aware of what's happening, it can actually be pretty fun to battle in here, because there's no real space for you to cover unless you run around this pillar away from the enemies. So it can be an interesting little space, this one. I also like that you don't quite grab the gun before they all start teleporting in, so if you kind of panic you can actually miss it. Personally, I would have added more enemies, but as I always say, that's my answer to everything, just throw more enemies in. But yeah, I do like this central area, and it is very much worth coming here before heading to the mines, because the super shotgun pretty much chews through the rest of this level with relative ease. You can see they've still got a texture there with a hole in the middle, so you don't lose the effect as you're making your way through here. So this bit is slightly different, because no longer are there barons here, there's just bony boys and some imps. So there's more enemies here, but I'd argue it's still a lot easier than dealing with the two barons. Also, I apologise if you're not a fan of strobing lights. Avert your eyes. The problem as well is that we've now got this invulnerability, but we don't really have much to use it on, so we may as well just leg it for the blue key here, because that would make the most sense in my opinion. So you see, this is the alternate route. We didn't really take that route in the PC playthrough. We actually came through the other way. But you can just drop down there into this room. So just a quick look around. Grab all the goodies here. So I will say that looks like a secret, and every time I see it in here or on the PC version, it always catches me out, and I'm not a huge fan of that. If it looks like a secret and it does nothing like that, it's a bit misleading. And I'm saying all this because the encounter here is pretty much nothing when you've got a rocket launcher to hand. There are a handful of enemies who are making their way through the mines here. Quite what they're mining for here, I don't know, but it surely can't be worth all this headache with all these demons around. You know, open a flowering business or something. Less stress, I hear. But yeah, I'm just making sure we haven't left any enemies back here. Because it is very possible to leave enemies in those mines and not realise. Going to shoot you in the face. I think there's a lot to like in this level if you really go looking for it. I think that... oh, I forgot about these guys. It's definitely not the most challenging TNT level, and compared to some of the levels we've experienced previously, you know, it's not that difficult to get through this one. In fact, you can probably tell by the time when we get to the end of this that, you know, it's not a difficult one. But I do think it's definitely a fun level. I think that if you come into this level with a pistol start in particular, you'll get a lot out of this one. If you come here with all the weapons, like, this level is going to be absolutely nothing to you. Oh. Did I not kill everything outside? Well, let's correct that, shall we? To be honest, I think if this level was slotted into the Doom 2 level set, I don't think people would really notice or mind, to be honest. It very much has a Doom 2 feel to it, in my opinion. You could definitely put this in the later Doom 2 category of levels, and it would certainly not feel too out of place. You can see they've got rid of the special exit, which is kind of a shame. So now you just have to thump a switch there. You know what? Before we leave the level, I'm actually going to run back here. And because I forgot the secret, because it's so unmemorable, and I'm going to show you how unmemorable it is. If you come up to here and see, look, it's a secret here, and literally there's just shotgun shells in here. There's really nothing that exciting happening. I feel like the secrets are a bit of a letdown on this level, so not really worth hunting for unless you're a die-hard completionist. But overall, I think this is a nice level. I think it's a fun level. Again, and I've said it about a few of the TNT levels that we've played recently, there's just nothing hyper memorable about it. It plays things very safe at a lot of points, and the battles are interesting from a pistol start, but once you've kind of sorted out the initial wave of chain gunners and shotgunners, you're pretty much well equipped to deal with the rest of the level. The 2 Baron fight is made super easy by the invulnerability, and it doesn't really add to the difficulty of the level, which is a bit of a shame, but it's more there to kind of like give you E1M8 throwbacks, I feel, you know, because it makes it super easy with the invulnerability. But again, don't hate this one. In fact, I think it's just above the middle of the pack for me, but let me know in the comments what you think of Lunar Mining Project, and thanks for watching.